This is your last one and a courtesy call. Hey, it could be danger up in this club. When we get started, we ain't...
Real quick, guys, before we get into the video, just want to let you guys know that there's some weird audio skips. It shouldn't affect the video in its whole, at least I'm hoping not, but bear with me. It's only for the beginning for a little bit. So yeah, enjoy the video. Hey guys, welcome back. Bomb here, bringing you another one of our live matches. This is actually top 8 of a League Cup, recent League Cup that I was talking about in some of my old videos. It's actually 2 of my good friends. We got Baez, or at least I consider him a friend. We got my boys Baez. You guys actually saw him at the ARG live matchup that I showed you guys a couple months back. And then we actually got one of my best friends, iyokuu, Blizz, Fletchier. I actually don't know his last name. He'll put it in the comments. But it's my boy iyokuu. This is actually his very first tournament ever, and he managed to make top 8 at a League Cup. This is my Greninja build that I gave him. I think we made a couple changes, so it's not exactly the same as the one you guys see on the channel. You guys probably have seen something similar to the live stream. But this is top 8. Unfortunately, I bubbled out. Played Ninetales, but ran into literally all my bad matchups. So that was exciting, but we can talk about that in like another thing or something like that. Regardless, looks like Luis is going first. This might be a little bit of a slow game. Blizz is still very new to the game, so he's still reading everything. But there we go. He's on Sycamore turn 1. Now Blizz did start with Talonflame, and unfortunately, this man lost 2 Seekers, Shaman. This man lost a lot there, but it's good for Blizz, you know, less resources for his opponent to use. He did start with Talonflame, which is amazing. He's going to put down Lele, get himself another supporter. Not really sure why. I don't know what he's looking. I guess he's just looking. He's using this time to look through his deck so he knows exactly what he has and doesn't have. He can't play a supporter this turn because he already played Sycamore. But it's good to have knowledge because you never know when you're going to get another chance to look at your deck again. So he's just out there looking through his deck. He did lead Trubbish as well. He does play the Trubbish that I feel like is much better. The one that disrupts energies. Although in this matchup, it's not that great. Let's see what he's going to do here. He'll attach to the bench. He can't attack this turn out clearly. I'll just be passed. All right, let's see if Blizz has a good hand. He did start with Talonflame. He does have a water energy, which is good. That's already like a huge start for him. But he's just going to go ahead and attack. He can't really do much. His hand looked pretty empty. This is actually going to be a long series. This is just part 1, 2. We will just have the first match because overall, like I guess it's kind of a spoiler, but like post all of this whole first round of recording this one match, it's about an hour and a half of video more or less. So I had to cut it up a little bit and speed up quite a bit, as you can see. But we are here today. So he did get some cards. I don't know what he got. I couldn't tell. I was too busy looking at things. He does attach Choice Band. Interesting that he attached Choice Band. I guess he might fear that some Greninja decks do play Lele. This one does not play Lele. I don't feel like Lele is very good in Greninja decks. That's because you kind of want to avoid your opponent taking more than 1 prize a turn. But he's going to play Fan Club, get down his Pokemon, probably get down some EVs. Espeons are going to be pretty useful this matchup. Just because they have the most HP. Garbodors will be 2, but it's very, very easy for Greninja to not play items, especially if they are, especially if they lead Talonflame, because they can get whatever cards they want for the most part. Oh, sorry about that. I had to sneeze quickly. Blah 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 blah. But he's gonna put down the Pokemon that he got. Evolve to Garbodor. He can do no damage right now unless he attaches a DCE. So that's good. That's great for Blizz. But he is gonna manually retreat. He did attach a Choice Band as well. I guess I'm not exactly sure. I guess he's fairly confident in attaching those Choice Bands. I would have left those bench space opens for potential Flowstones if he has any. Although I don't know his deck build, so he's gonna go ahead and attack for 60 damage, which is good. He did get Froakie, so he does have a Froakie down. He's gonna attach a Choice Band to Froakie. Now that's good for him. Hopefully they're visible so I can remember in the future. But he does have Froakie down. He's just going to probably Air Blitz again. He has no reason not to. Unless he attaches another energy next turn, he can't actually knock out the Lele. And that 40 damage spread is going to be so clutch for later in the game. That does put him at 130 HP left, which I believe is perfect numbers for Giant Water Shuriken plus a Choice Band and Shadow Stitch. It's exactly enough for a knockout. He's going to get a couple more cards. He's probably going to get Frogadier here. I'm surprised he didn't get 2 Froakies. I would have tried my best to get 2 Froakies out that turn, because that way if your opponent does Lysander knock out a Froakie, you at least have another one that you can evolve the following turn. And attaching to it is also risky, just because Lele can Lysander knock it out even with his 2 DC, because that would be exactly 60 damage. But he's just going to go ahead and play Sycamore here. So it looks like iyokuu lucked out that he didn't have a Lysander or a Lele or any way to get a Lysander or like Escape Rope or something like that. But something to keep in mind, just because like this is his first tournament, so like I'm going to be doing a lot of critiquing just for my friend. But we have this round and we have the final round. So we don't have top 4, but we do have top 2. So I figured those would be the most important matches, and I really want to record Blizz play. He did drop a Lily and a Sycamore to play on his Ultra Ball. He's probably going. He looks like his Garbodor, his Garbotoxin Garbodor is prized. Either that or he doesn't play it, because I know he plays Hex Maniac in his list. So maybe he doesn't play Garbotoxin. I would love to take a look at his list at some point. It looks pretty dope. I'm a fan of it. But he's gonna grab the he is gonna grab the Trash Lance Garb here. And let's see what he does here. I'm fairly interested because I love these matchups, man. Because I didn't actually get a chance to watch his match because I was busy doing some other computer YouTube thingies. But he's going to go ahead and attack him so he doesn't get knocked out here. But now Blizz can actually evolve his Frogadier into Froakie into Frogadier and start water duplicating. And he has enough HP to dodge knockouts unless Lele does attach an energy. He's going to get Dive Ball as well. I don't know. I guess he's probably getting down a Froakie just so he has, that way he has Froakies down just in case. Or maybe just looking through his deck like what happened earlier. He's actually going to get Greninja. Very strange that he get Greninja, because if his opponent ends him, he wasted a Dive Ball and he can't evolve into Greninja this turn. So, very interesting. I don't know what he's trying to do here, because that's also just an item in the discard pile for Garbodor. That seemed like a completely unnecessary play. Maybe he can explain it to me later. Maybe somebody in the comments can. Maybe he'll let me know in the comments. He can always like timestamp and give us his reasoning. He has 1 Frogadier prize, which sucks, but it's not the end of the world. It's pretty much always going to happen in Greninja games, as I found out. I actually went to a League Cup or League Challenge the other day with the Greninja. That was really, really popular for some reason. We had like 50 people there. I don't know. We've never had that many people at a League Challenge before, but it was popping. It was popping, and I played Greninja, and I almost made top 8, but I got donked in the last round. So, I mean top 4 because that's the one that mattered. Oh no, I did. I made 4th place because I got donked. That's why I made 4th place because I got donked in the last round. Let's see what he's got here. It looks like he whiffed an energy attachment. So Lele's just gonna be doing. Oh no, he has energies in his hand. So if he really wants to get a knockout here, all he has to do is attach 1, and he'll get his knockout. That way he can get rid of 1 Frogadier, and he just attaches a DC instead. So now he's overkilling. But he wants to keep those psychic energies for his Garbodors. He doesn't really need the DCs on them. But that Frogadier will be knocked out. But he has a Greninja in hand. Luckily, his opponent did not end him. So, man, looks like Blizz is actually dodging like all of these potential plays. We'll see. There's a Greninja down. 2 Greninjas down, which is dope. He can Shadow Stitch. Moonlight Slash with Choice Band will not be enough to knock him out. Only do 110 unless he plays Kukui, which I'm pretty sure there's no Kukui in this deck list. Although it's something I've been considering just to hit those magic numbers. But that's pretty difficult to get out without Lele, and I don't want to play Lele in the deck, so he's going to actually switch out, which is a really interesting play, because that means he gets his Greninja breaks. He has a lot of potential plays with this play, so I actually really like that play. Not risking his Greninja of getting knocked out or even damaged. He wants to make sure it stays as healthy as possible, because those are his Greninjas, man. He needs those. He absolutely needs those. But that also puts Lele in range of a Choice Banded Shadow Stitch. And I know one of these has Choice Band, or maybe the one that got knocked out had Choice Band. I can't tell. He doesn't make his cards very visible. Let's see. He is going to top deck. He got a Sycamore, which is nice. I'm not too sure if he's going to play it because, you know, he doesn't want to play too many Sycamores. He doesn't want to lose his deck completely. But he does have confusion capabilities now, which is pretty handy for Espeon being able to put that continuous damage. Well, there's the end. So it's a good thing that like he didn't get any extra cards that he might have needed besides his Halflame attack, which of course he can just draw in the future. His opponent has already taken 5 prizes, so Blizz will get 6 off of this, while Luis gets only 5, which is fine. He gets to preserve a lot of his resources as well this way. Let's see, did he get any Greninja breaks? He did get a Froakie, which he can put down. A Rescue Stretcher is pretty nice for the future. Maybe not right now, unless he doesn't have anything else he can really do here. But he is going to knock out that Talonflame. So Talonflame is no longer an issue. I feel like it's always super important to knock out Talonflame right away. He did get a Choice Band. So now he actually gets a knockout on this Lele. Let's see if he can get a Greninja break here. He's looking through his discard pile, seeing what he can probably do. But he's just going to play N. Yeah, there we go. He's making visible. Thank you, Luis. Appreciate it. Just so we know exactly what's going on with this field. He's going to play N though. So now Luis goes down to 4 while Blizz gets 6. And then he's probably going to get a knockout this turn, which means he's going to get an extra 2 prizes because Choice Banded Moonlight Slash will get a knockout on Lele. And he doesn't really have, he doesn't have too many items in his discard pile to where he should feel uncomfortable being hit by Garbodor. If he gets some Greninja breaks here, that'd be kind of nice, so we can start sniping down the bench a little bit. If he gets water energies as well, 2 Greninja breaks would be magical here. He wants to put down more Froakies though. He's gonna actually discard Level Ball and Talonflame, 2 cards to discard, which is nice because you actually don't need Talonflames once your turn 1 is over, pretty much. Once you put down the first Talonflame. So they're all Ultra Ball targets. Level Ball sucks they put down 2 items in the discard pile to do that, but he's still not in terrible range of a Garbodor. Although he has to be a little bit, I feel like he has to be a little bit more wary because late game Garbodor will destroy him. Let's see what he's going to. He is going to Giant Water Shuriken, probably. Yeah, he's going to go for the Trubbish. Just put some extra damage on the Trubbish. I think that's what he's doing, right? Yeah, he's just going to do 60 damage there. So that is in range of a Giant Water Shuriken for the future. Although Moonlight Slash knocked it out already. So I guess, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what his master plan is. But he did get 2 prizes there, so that's the cool thing about Greninja. You can just get your big prizes. He can come back here. He has nothing that is... There's no way his opponent can knock him out. And... yeah, there's just no way his opponent can knock him out, which is really nice. Another Psychic Energy on Garb. He did Field Blower, so it's more items in the discard pile for his opponent. Greninja cannot actually Oko this... Espeon by itself. Like, it needs 2 Greninja breaks and a Choice Banded attack, I believe. No, it just needs a regular attack. So if he gets a second Greninja break, he needs a second Greninja break and 3 energies, 1 for each discard, and then an attack with a Greninja on the bench. So he needs a Greninja break, 3 energies. That will get him a definite knockout. It's fairly easy to do in Greninja, especially if you have Sycamores in hand. His opponent will be doing 90 damage to him. Luis will be doing 90 damage to Greninja, which is not great because that 2-hit KOs Greninja. If he did put the water energy back in his hand, he could have actually prevented the 2-hit KO at least. So I'm actually very surprised he didn't do that because that play was fairly obvious. He did get an Eevee with the Ultra Ball, which is nice, which is dope. Let's see. So he's gonna play Lele as well. Once again, he got Hex Maniac, so there's his Hex Maniac. So that kind of leads me to believe he probably doesn't play Garbotoxin in the deck. Probably because Garbotoxin is a lot less reliable than a solid Hex Maniac. You need to turn off abilities every turn, just like on very crucial turns. Which means next turn, if he does get hexed, he will be in a very odd position, but he's going to use a GX attack to put 90 damage on the active and 10 on the bench. I'm trying to think of like why. I guess that puts him in range of other attacks, plus there was no other time for him to really use a GX attack unless he put down more Froakies. I don't see another way for him to use that GX attack. Which maybe if he waited a couple of turns and Blizz did eventually put down more Froakies, that could have been a possibility, but he managed to get 3 energies in his hand. Does he have a Greninja break, though, to pull it off? It does not look like he has it. But he's going to attach here. He's probably going to Giant Water Shuriken, knock that one out. So that's 1 Garbodor gone. He gets an extra prize that way. Let's see if he gets the Greninja break or a way to get it. Looks like he doesn't have it yet, if he does, unless he can get it right now, which does not look like he can. Oh yeah, the dice was moved around, so he only has 1 damage counter. I remember that being a thing. And he can just attack this thing for 80 here. Or 60. Or he could also just... Yeah, he's going to Shadow Stitch instead. So Shadow Stitching does prevent any Lele's in the future. Although he is going to be Hex this turn. So it doesn't really change too much for him. because he's going to be knocked out one way or another. He might even be Lysander since he kept the energy on the active Greninja. He does have a Lysander in hand, and that will do the 90 damage necessary to knock him out. And that'll put Blizz in a really bad spot unless he gets a way to put down more Froakies right now. And then be able to rescue Stretcher his Frogadiers back in the deck to use water duplicates again. Because he still has to take 4 more prizes to win this game. So, although it is a little bit, although Blizz does look like he's in a bad position, seeing that he is going to be Lysander this turn, he can very easily bounce this game back. Although, if he does Lysander, he can't Hex. But Lysandering is exactly what he needs to do right now. Because that's the only Greninja break on the field. And iyokuu put himself in a position where he has nothing in his hand that he can actually use, just water energies. And it looked like a Talonflame as well. See, he's going to retreat to Garbodor. I'm assuming because he has enough items in the discard pile. Which is a smart play on Luis's part. Because that does get rid of his... That does prevent his his 2 prize attacker from being knocked out. So let's see how iyokuu is going to respond. He does get another Greninja break, which is great. So he actually can knock out at least this active Garbodor from it doing major damage to him. Because Giant Water Shuriken into another attack will knock it out. But he still needs to really focus on getting more Frogadiers down. He had opportunities earlier in the game that he never took advantage of. Yeah, but he's going to Giant Water Shuriken deactive. And then knock it out here, I'm assuming. Let's see. Yeah, and he's just going to knock it out. So he's going to take another prize here. But he's going to preserve the energy on there. Once again, it's very odd because that means that he is going to be 2-hit KO'd by this Espeon where he wouldn't have been 2-hit KO'd before. Let's see how Luis is going to react. Because all he has to do is knock out this last one, right? But once he gets his knockout here, he can win. He is going to Hex, which means no Greninja break shenanigans next turn. Which means it's actually impossible for iyokuu to knock him out next turn. Doing 90 damage, which means he's at 100 damage, only having 70 HP left. Now, obviously, Psychic only does 60 damage. So if he does Moonlight Slash again to put the energy back into his hand, he won't be knocked out because he does have 70 HP left, and Psychic only does 60. And he already uses GX attack, so he can't do more than 60 unless he has a Kukui in the deck that he can abuse, which I do not think you would play Kukui in a deck like this. So he's going to go ahead and play N. He's going to put himself down to 2 cards. Very, very, very risky, especially since he needs to get more bench Pokemon or he just loses this game. I'm a huge fan of Greninja, guys. I'm like rooting for the Greninja in the back of my head. But Luis is going to draw 3 here. Blizz is going to draw 2. Did he get what he needed? He has to put the energy back in the hand if he wants to survive another turn. I don't know if he knows this. But at the very least, he can do 80 damage. Putting his opponent at another 80 damage would be knockout, and he would actually win the game. So, if Luis has nothing, if Luis actually has nothing he can do next turn, Blizz wins this game, right? Because he attacks for 80. Yeah, he attacks for 80 here. Next turn, he attacks for another 80, and that would be knockout. Let's see how Luis responds, I should say. He could also confuse and like try to prevent him from attacking next turn because he has to hit that 80 number. Confusion into a Psychic and then hoping he lands Tails until next turn could be a play he does. He is going to get another Espeon though, preventing this one from actually, so he can actually switch out here, put down another Espeon down. So he has a full HP Espeon that he can abuse while his other one is stuck with a DC in hand too. It looks like he got ended to the perfect hand. That's kind of wild. I had no supporter, but he got the energies and the Espeon down. He can rescue Fletchier here, probably get a Lele. That way he can get a supporter this turn. Although I don't really see him needing to play if he wants to preserve that DC in hand. Although he has no real reason to preserve it as well. He can just draw a bunch. He also gets a really good chance to look through his deck. He is going to grab an N here. He's going to play it as well. Interesting. So knowing that iyokuu was stuck, he chose to N. I'm trying to figure out Why? Because he had DC in hand. He didn't really have a reason to end there. Unless I missaw and that wasn't a DC. But he did get another Psychic Energy. He's going to retreat. So now he can actually just confuse Iyokuu. He can still use his abilities, but he is in range of being Psychic next turn. So if he does get a DCE, or a Psychic Energy for that matter, he can just knock out Iyokuu next turn for game. This game became really, really close. Now, of course, Blizz does have a chance of Lysandering and flipping heads off the attack for knockout if he gets the proper cards. So let's take a look at what he can do here. I know he's learning about confusion rules. We had to tell him that he could use his ability even though he's confused, because abilities it's only affected by attacks. So having the 3 cards in his hand, looks like nothing is terribly useful. He's in a Giant Water Shuriken to bench one though, because it does pretty much guarantee him game if he can survive the next turn. But unfortunately, he does have a Psychic Energy in his hand, so we both know that this is game for Blizz, unless he can end him into nothing right now. And he just chooses to pass, and that will be game for Luis, as all he has to do is retreat, attach a Psychic, and attack for game. There we go. So that's game 1 for Luis. I believe tomorrow I should have game 2 up for you guys. If you guys want to see how Greninja fares against game 2. He did actually have he had a max potion soon, but not soon enough. If he got that max potion, that would have been a game changer. But regardless, be sure to drop a like, guys. Let me know how you guys like these live content. I do want to get more of this live content. I really enjoy recording it. It's so much fun to record. It's so interesting to see other people play as well, so you get more perspective from other people playing besides just myself. I know Luis will probably watch this video, so I hope I don't mean to insult anyone while recording these videos. I question some plays. I would love to know their reasoning behind it, because it's always good to know things, especially since I'm only knowing in the perspective of what I can see, not what they are thinking. Iyokuu will probably do the same thing. This is very good showing for Iyokuu too, being his very first tournament ever. First time playing this deck against people that are not that is not myself. So that's pretty exciting. They're just setting up for game 2, but we will see game 2 tomorrow. Drop a like if you have not already. Let me know what decks you would like to see me play live, because I can record some more live stuff with me and my brother and Blizz if he's ever around and stuff like that. So yeah, let me know. Drop a like, subscribe, share, all that good jazz, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.